It was a cold evening in Lahore. The streets shimmered under the orange streetlights, and the winter breeze carried the faint scent of jasmine. I remember that night as clearly as if it were yesterday, the night I first saw Ayan. He wasn't the kind of boy who tried to impress anyone. There was something effortless about him, quiet confidence, calm eyes, and that smile, the one that felt like it had the power to pause the world for a second. I was sitting at a small cafe near Liberty Market, reading my favorite book, when he walked in. He asked the waiter for a cappuccino, then looked around, searching for a place to sit. The cafe was crowded, and the only empty chair was at my table. He hesitated for a moment, then walked over. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" I shook my head, smiling politely. "Not anymore," I said softly. That's how it started, a conversation over coffee that turned into endless nights of talking, laughter, and quiet understanding. He told me about his dreams, how he wanted to start his own design company, how he believed art could heal people. I told him about my writing, my love for stories that made people feel. It wasn't love at first sight. It was slower, deeper, like two souls recognizing each other after years of silence. Crescent Moon. The Promise. One night, as we sat on the rooftop watching the stars, Ayan turned to me and said, "Promise me one thing, Zara, no matter where life takes us, we'll never let distance change what we feel." I looked at him and laughed softly. That's easy to promise when everything feels perfect. He smiled, that same quiet, beautiful smile. "Still, promise me." And I did. That was our wada, our unfinished promise. Cloud with rain. The silence that followed. Months passed. Life began to shift. Ayan got a job in Karachi, his dream job. I was proud, but deep down, I was terrified. Distance tests love in ways no one can explain. At first, the calls were long and full of laughter. Then they became shorter, rushed. Then came the silence. He would text, but not like before. "Busy," he'd say. I understood, or at least, I tried to. There were days when I'd stare at my phone, waiting for his name to appear, replaying his voice in my mind like an old song I didn't want to end. Sometimes love doesn't fade, it just hides behind life's noise. Heartbreak. The day I almost let go. One evening, after weeks of silence, I stood by my window and whispered to myself. Maybe the promise was never meant to last. That night, I deleted our old chats, the photos, the voice notes, everything. But love, true love, doesn't delete so easily. Because when I closed my eyes, I could still feel him, his warmth, his laugh, his promise. Sun. The return. Then one morning, my phone rang. The screen flashed his name, Ayan. For a moment, my hands froze. I picked up the call, my voice trembling. "Hello." He didn't speak right away. I could hear his breathing. Then he said softly, "I kept my promise." Tears filled my eyes before I could even breathe. He told me he had been working day and night to build his company, to make something that could last, for us. "I didn't want to come back empty-handed," he said. "I wanted to be the man you saw in me, the man worthy of your promise." Ring. The beginning we never expected. Months later, we met again, at the same cafe where it all began. The waiter recognized us and smiled. Ayan sat across from me, holding a small velvet box. "I don't want this to be unfinished anymore," he said. Inside was a ring, simple, elegant, glowing softly under the cafe lights. He took my hand and whispered, "Zara, will you complete our promise?" I didn't speak, I just nodded, my heart overflowing. That moment wasn't just love. It was everything, every silence, every tear, every memory that led us here. Cherry Blossom. The unfinished promise, completed. Life isn't perfect, and neither were we. We still argue, laugh, cry, dream, but now, every time I look at him, I remember that winter night in Lahore. The night I made a promise I never wanted to break. Love doesn't need perfection, it just needs faith, and a promise strong enough to survive the storms. And sometimes, the promises that seem unfinished are just waiting for the right time to be fulfilled. Revolving Hearts.